I'm Kristen Gutierrez, and I'm here today with Meena Verma, who is our Ask the Expert. So Meena, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm Meena Verma. I'm a digital marketing professional. I've been in digital marketing or marketing for over 15 years, building roadmaps and strategies for different type of companies and clients, B2B, B2C. So while doing so many things in digital marketing, the content and SEO has been the center point of all activities to build customer journeys and then marketing funnels and targeting the users in different countries, and marrying the business objectives with user needs.
Well, you hit on a lot of buzzwords right now in the industry, like customer journey, right? And your particular topic is on the importance of SEO in localization. So let's summarize it at first by saying, like, what happens? What's the biggest risk of not getting SEO right?
So the biggest risk, as we know, like in today's world and age, people go to online search engines. They look for content. They do searches. If your content is not localized, you will not be found. And if your competition is doing it, then you lose. So that's the biggest risk.
That is the competitive advantage or lack thereof.
Yes, exactly.
So at what point do you look at tackling the multilingual aspect of SEO? What's your best practice? Like, what's your recommendation for that?
So I would say from base up. So you cannot ignore, when you are choosing your CMS, I would say start from there. So your website should be able to handle localization. So your website should be internationalization ready. What does that mean? It should be able to take the code and context and bi-directional text and date and address formats required for different countries and languages. So your website should be ready. So that's the first thing you will consider for your long-term localization and globalization strategy.
I love that. And then at what point do you consider the SEO section? So do you look at SEO up front when you're building glossaries, or would you more look at SEO downstream after the content is out there? What's your recommendation?
No, so the content strategy has to encompass SEO strategy, and then SEO strategy has to consider the localization aspect of it. So the certain keywords which are important for us, let's say here in Western US world, will carry a different meaning in different countries. So when you consider your content has to be around your main targeted keywords, right? So then translation would encompass those keywords. So it will have to start from base up. So your website has to be ready. Then your content strategy would have to consider SEO before you started building the content. If that makes sense.
A lot of logical sense to me. Yes. And in your expertise, are the SEO keywords in other languages being updated often, or what's the cadence? Is it every quarter, every 6 months, or every day in which you're updating the keywords themselves?
So the keywords and the preferred search terms won't change as much depending upon the type of business and product you are in. If you are a SaaS-based business, there are new products and services out there, then your keyword will change. If you're a traditional business looking for like a black dress or cat food, they won't change as much. So it depends upon the nature of your business.
Okay, good, great. And then final closing thoughts, like how best to tackle your global SEO project. What are your biggest lessons learned from the past?
That's a tenfold question. The answer can take me like 2 hours. There's so many things. So if you are considering starting a website, let's say in Denmark, but your main website is in US and it's a .com versus .de. So what type of domain level or the URL structure you would consider? You would go with top level domain like .com, .gov, .edu, and then localize it with /folder.de or the subdomain, DE. So it now talks about the URL structure, the folder depth, which is important for SEO. So that's one thing you have to think about, very important. You start from there, right? So that would be very important. Then of course, localizing, optimizing for those search engines which are popular for that country, because Google is not the god for every country, right? So we know Baidu for China, and then Yandex and other search engines are very important. So you optimize for those search engines. You also have to think about your content delivery network, right? So where your servers are hosted, the IP address, a local IP address, how you handle those type of issues. So again, giving an example of China, sometimes you're required to have a physical server in China itself. Otherwise, your content will not be shown at all. So no matter how much you optimize, your content not seen. So there are a lot of things in that, and you have to see the pros and cons, and then go from there on.
This is great. I think I'd be interested in the feedback on this video from others. If this is a topic worth diving into further, perhaps we could set up a panel discussion in the future with other experts like yourself to kind of talk about the pitfalls, the pros, the cons, the ROI around a proper localized SEO approach.
I would love that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and your expertise.
Thank you. I had a great time talking to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.